likely to continue in that vein. And the crowds here in Ankara are just starting to get themselves ready for what will be a big battle. Sweden may have already been eliminated, but it's been such a close group. I'm sure they will have their hearts set on leaving with an upset by turning over Turkey this evening. As you can see, this is the window as it looks. We've had the game in Ukraine just recently finish. Ukraine lost that one 71-93 to Latvia in the Palace of Sports in Kiev. And our game here today will complete the Group B in the first phase. Latvia at the moment sit top of the table. However, if Turkey win today, they will take top spot, bouncing Latvia down to second. So plenty to play for. And remember, all three teams will take every single result from this first phase through to the second phase. So every win and loss will count in their qualification campaign for the World Cup finals in China next year. Just waiting for the teams to be introduced to the crowd here in Ankara. And first to be introduced will be Sweden. To be honest, they can feel a little bit hard done by with how the group has gone. They've put in some amazing performance, have been so close in so many games. Just weren't quite able to get those games across the line and secure those crucial wins. They won one back in Stockholm, and they'll want to surprise the world again today against Turkey. That was their only win of their qualification campaign against Turkey. Part of the key to their competitive nature in this qualification process has been they've had a consistent roster throughout. And it'll be interesting to see if, once again, that provides them with a bit of an edge here today in Ankara. Turkey have made changes. They've brought in some big names for this final qualification window, which will take you through in due course. But now being introduced to the crowd here in the arena as Turkey, and the noise levels will start to rise as you can hear the crowd, who are famous for the response they give to their national basketball team. And today's going to be no different. They've had a pretty impressive qualification. They only lost that game to Sweden by a point and Latvia by 9. And it's also important to note both those results are on the road. So, as I said, the crowds here in Turkey haven't seen their team lose so far in this qualification. It's going to be difficult. They'll have half an eye on the next phase of qualification. But as I said, all results carry forward. So they need to stay focused and pick up the win today. I'm sure they'll also want to avenge that 1-point loss in Sweden, and the talent they have on the floor puts them as clear favourites tonight. To convert that talent into performance is another thing, though, and 40 minutes in front of us will show whether that's possible. We're now just a few minutes away from tip-off here in Ankara, and before that we'll have the national anthems of both countries. First national anthem will be that of Sweden. And now the national anthem for Turkey. Wonderful renditions there of both national anthems, and you can really feel the atmosphere here in the arena starting to build as Turkey will look to close out this qualification phase with a win over Sweden in front of their home crowd, who love nothing more than a win for their team. Our three officials for this evening that will overlook proceedings is Severio Lanzolini from Italy, Nicolas Maestre from France, and Ivo Matacek from the Czech Republic. They'll be making sure everything goes to plan and is above board and within the rules and regulations for what is set to be a wonderful game of international basketball that is just moments ahead of us now here in Ankara. Before we proceed, though, let's have a look at the rosters. And for Sweden, they've been one of the few teams to keep a consistent roster throughout qualification. Čerepović really is the one to watch. He's played all 5 qualifications games so far, averaged 15.2 points and 6.4 rebounds per game. Another one to keep your eye on is Nicholas Spires. Had a big game in the win over Turkey, putting in a 16.6 board performance back in Stockholm. The starting 5 for Sweden will be Thomas Masamba, Ludvig Håkansson, Alexander Lundqvist, Victor Gadafors, and Nicholas Spires. A strong starting 5 for Sweden. Looking across to the home team, Turkey, as the noise levels once again crank up in the arena. The introduction of Osman Korkmaz and Wilbekin in this qualification window certainly has raised the talent level within the team, and they combined for 54 of Turkey's 80 points in the win over Ukraine on Thursday. Really do expect to see that trio take centre stage once again. Here's the starting 5. As I said, Scotty Wilbekin will be joined by Balbay, Osman, Turin and Erden. Korkmaz will join the action from the bench, but that is a very, very strong starting 5 indeed for Turkey, and a bit closer to the team that they would likely field in China next year at the World Cup finals if they were to make it all the way. At the moment, their performances would suggest that they're in the driving seat to make it, but still the game tonight, and 6 more games to come in 3 further qualification windows. In those 3 games they will face Spain, Slovenia and Montenegro, and those qualification windows are in September, November and February. And the top 3 teams from that 16 group in qualification phase 2 will be determined by the first and second qualification round games being combined. And Coach Bosnich there, some final thoughts for his team, and he'll want to finish this qualification off on a high. You know, they may not have made it through, but they'll be keen to leave with a bang. And then Coach Sarija will know that the temptation may be there for his team to start looking forward and showboating maybe a little bit early on, but that could cost them. I'm sure he'll have had a few strong words to make sure his players get the job done first. So we are now moments away from the opening tip-off here in Ankara, in the final game in Group B of the European zone of qualification. for the 2019 FIBA World Cup. Both teams take to the floor, exchange handshakes with the officials as they both prep to enter battle against one another on the hardwood. Cedi Osman, an important inclusion for Turkey in this window. 20 points in his first game, and we're underway here in Ankara. Ball in the hands of Turan. Now to Balbay, and it's stolen away by Sweden. A nice early defensive stop for them, and Musamma now passes the ball off. It's in the hands of Haakonsen. Haakonsen looks to pass it inside to Spires, and Spires can't get the first to go. And a big performance against Turkey. 16 points in the last time they met. Spires now being forced to guard Osman. Ball goes into the low post to Erden. It's stolen away again. Two back-to-back defensive turnovers. Oh, big rejection there by Metin Turan, and Turkey out at the races. Slow it down this time though, and it comes back to Osman, who slows things up, waves away his teammate. He wants to feed the big man in the low post, and Erden skips it to the corner. Turan now looking to back. Haakonsen down. A long shot comes in from Balbay, but he's way off the mark, and it's been a bit of a stuttery start from both sides so far, and you can hear that the crowd are going to make themselves felt tonight. A long three to start the game for Lindqvist, but he can't get it to drop, and we're a minute and a half in, and there's no one yet to trouble the scorers. Until now, a nice way to open his account. Metin Turan drains the triple. Musamma now for Sweden. Lindqvist hands it off to Gadafors, and he'll pull the trigger on a three. He's up short with that one. Lindqvist pulls in the rebound though. The ball comes to Haakonsen. Back to Lindqvist for another attempt at three. Too heavy this time. First one was too short, second one too heavy. And Balbay in full flow. It's going to be fouled by Haakonsen. That's our first foul of the game. As we watch a replay of that. And quite a smart move by Haakonsen, really. Balbay was only going to end up in one place, and there's your defensive tenacity by Turan, and he's had a good start to the game so far. A block at one end and a big three at the other. Wilbekin tries to feed the low post, but another foul has been called. Balbay's already drawn a foul. Ball inbounded to Wilbekin, and he feeds it to Erden. Back to Osman. Osman will pull the trigger on a three. He's off right with that one, and the iron spits it away. Gadafors now with the ball at the elbow. Recycles it back out to Haakonsen, and the noise levels in the arena really are deafening at times. Oh, that was a tough bar. Spires was always going to struggle to control that one. A turnover ball. Turkey will come back the other way. Osman now at the top. Erden sets a screen for him, and the ball is spun to Wilbekin. Back to Osman. Turkey finding it easy to penetrate. Three for Osman. Oh, string music for Cedi Osman. And Turkey's first two scores of the game are from deep, deep, deep outside the perimeter. Over 3 minutes in, and Sweden yet to register any points. Haakonsen now turns a corner. Long corner two, and he's not found his form yet either. Osman Been guarded. Gaddaforsh, ball down into the low post to Erden now. Great ball movement, wide open. Wilbekin hits another three. Back-to-back-to-back threes for Turkey. And they certainly giving the crowd something to cheer about. Spires now. Hands it off to Gaddaforsh. Gaddaforsh pulls the trigger on a two. And that sigh of relief for all the Swedish fans as they get their scoring underway with a little under 4 minutes gone in the game. Turan now goes inside to Erden and he's fouled. What a strong move by Turan, and goes up with a tough play, and he's picked up the foul. Spires fouled him. Always difficult when a big man establishes himself so deep in the paint. You kind of have the choice, do I just let him have the easy two or not? And there's a replay of Osman getting his account opened here in Ankara. Erden will go to the line for 2 shots. Can't get that one to go. This is Erden's 3rd qualification game. He's averaging just 4.5 points per game and three rebounds so far in his qualification campaign. Håkansson now at the top. Back out to Masamba. And that's great hustle there by Wilbekin, and Turkey come away with it. Osman at the elbow for the mid-range two. In and out with that one. Gaddaforsh comes away with it, but he's fouled as he tries to advance it up over the half. Turan called for the foul. Čedopović into the game for the first time for Sweden. He has been very influential for them. He wants to get his scoring underway early, and he's fouled. Almost a 4-point play there. And that will send Čedopović to the line as Cedi Osman flies across. And yeah, easy call for the officials. Smart move by Čedopović. He's left his shooting arm out there a little bit longer than maybe necessary. Drew the contact. And this is the first. Averaging 67% from the line through qualification. Not what you'd really want from a guard. Connects with the second of his 3. And the third. That reduces the Turkish lead down to 7. Dalshbel with the ball now. As he tries to play a little pick and roll with Erden, but he's not there, and Čedopović returns it. Nice play, quick 4 points for Čedopović. Surprised he didn't start the game. Be interested to see if there was potentially an issue that was keeping him on the bench, but he's in the action now, and he's quickly up to 4 points personal. Erden, nice quick spin move by the big man. He loses the handle though, and Masamba will come back for Sweden. Into the hands of Gaddaforsh. And unfortunately, Čedopović stood out of bounds. So it'll be turnover ball. 4:14 left in the first quarter here in Ankara, and Turkey lead this one 11-6 over Sweden. A win today for Turkey sends them top of the group and through to the second phase of qualification with a 4-2 record. Korkmaz now into the game for the first time this evening. Balbay going to weave his way inside and hands it to Osman. In and out for Osman, and a battle on the boards ensues, and Masamba looks like he's been hit a couple of times there as he tries to corral the loose ball. Looks to the officials and wonders why there hasn't been a call, but the officials just gently tell him to get on with the game. Tarapovic, right-hand floater, and he really has come to make a difference in the game this evening. Already up to 6 points on his personal tally. That's 3/4 of the points that Sweden have scored as a whole, and Turkey's lead has quickly been reduced to just 3. Korkmaz now with the ball, little hesitation, steps back for the jumper. Comes away with just an air ball, and Turkey are starting to stutter now after what was a very bright start. They aren't having it all their own way, and Osmizvak will come into the game for the first time. As you can see, Turkey heavily reliant on their perimeter shooting. 9 of their 11 points have come from distance. Tarapovic, nice little fake. Another step. He's going to have to pass the ball. No, he's not. He's going to take the jumper. Wow, brave shot by Tarapovic. Another moment. He's unstoppable. Wait to see where the foul is going to be called, and that one's going to be an offensive foul called on Shanley. Let's have a look. Yeah, easy call for the official there. Shanley nowhere near set, and his legs, I'm not sure they could be any wider without him doing the splits on the court. Gadafors inbounds it to Hackinson. To Masamba, back to Hackinson now. Baganda into the game, but he travels. That's his first impact on the offensive end, not one that the 20-year-old big man will have wanted. Plies his trade in Spain and had a big under-20 European Championship last summer. Scored 15 points and pulled down 13.8 rebounds per game in that one. So potentially seen as a future star for the Swedish team. Korkmaz now pulls up for the long two. Slightly off to the left, and Osmizvak almost took a seat in the front row there. A couple of ladies on the front row got a up close and personal experience there with Cartel Osmizvak, and Osman will go to the bench for the first time. Just 1 3 to his name, along with 3 rebounds so far. Tarapovic now, and it's stripped away. Good defense by Korkmaz, and he'll fly to the basket, and Masamba will be called for the foul. That will send Korkmaz to the line for 2 shots. Easy call for the officials, and Korkmaz will be a bit frustrated he didn't get a better shot on target. Interesting stat that. Turkey haven't scored in 4 minutes of action now after a bright start. It really has slowed down, and they'll be glad to see Korkmaz taking the seal off that basket with his first points of the game. He's averaging 88% from the line. Absolutely deadly. I'm sure Sweden will be more than aware of that, and they won't want to send him to the line too often tonight. And Samba double team, so he skips it long. Samba now calling for the screen from Baganda, and goes inside to Gadafors, and he sneaks in the back door for 2. Smart move. The Turkish team really were pressing high on the defensive end. Does leave you slightly vulnerable for that pass on the back door. Korkmaz now. Pick and roll action there with Shanley, and he puts up the jumper. It's no good. Tarapovic pulls down his first rebound of the contest. Borg now has it stripped away, and it's an easy basket here for Osmizvak. Much to the appreciation of the capacity crowd here in Ankara. And Samba now. Baganda with this screen. Good quick ball movement. Cheropovic for three. Oh, another big shot by Cheropovic. He has certainly bring his shooting shoes with him tonight. He's up to 11 points personal. Yet to miss a jumper from the field. Cheropovic applies his trade in the top league in Belarus, and the 26-year-old shooting guard has had a very strong qualification process so far. 15.2 boards and 6.4 points per game. He's played in every single qualifier so far, and tying the game up there for Sweden. But Korkmaz is back at the line, and he really is Mr. Automatic from the charity stripe. Köksal into the game for the first time as Turan takes a much-earned break. Persoon now brings it up over the half for Sweden. Baganda hands it off to Borg. Turkey really are pushing very high on their defensive action, and it's obviously an intentional ploy here because the whole team are pushing higher and higher and higher. They just need to be careful that no one slices or flashes hard to the basket. Köksal with his first foul. A long jumper from Gadafosh, can't get it to go, and Turkey will look to bring it back, but they won't get a shot off before the end of the first quarter. And after 10 minutes of action here in Ankara, Turkey lead this one 17-15 over Sweden. It was definitely a quarter of two phases. Turkey having the best of the start before Sweden plugged their way back in on the back of 11 points from Christopher Cheropovic. Welcome back to Ankara, and we're in the first quarter break at the moment, and as you can see, Coach Bosnic is looking to change things up. Let's listen into his huddle.
But here, if you don't have ball here, you prepare to come in the middle. They will hit you. Here is that ball. Fast, open shot. Let me continue. Hey, good. To side.
Just while we have a look at some of the shooting percentages from the first quarter, a reminder, and I'm sure you've all fallen in love with this new qualification process for the FIBA World Cup. I know I certainly have, and the best way to stay up to date with all the news, views, and all the latest highlight videos is to download the FIBA World Cup app. So make sure you get your smart devices out now, be it your tablets or your phones. It's available both on Android and Apple, so there's no excuses for you guys not to know all the latest in the FIBA World Cup. But we're ready now for the second quarter of action. And Borg will get things underway for Sweden as he inbounds it to Persoon. Back to Borg now, to Cheropovic, who's been on fire so far, to Persoon. Little shake as he drives inside. It's blocked by Shanley, but he was fouled before that, and the foul's going to be called on Osmizrak. Easy call for the officials. Again, it's one of those, isn't it? It's so tempting to try and strip the ball away when you're trying to recover on the defensive end, but it really does only lead to one thing about 90% of the time, and that's a defensive foul. Persoon plays in the top league in Romania. This is his third qualifying game for the World Cup in the Swedish jersey. Osman now for Turkey. Trying to shape up Baganda, and he kicks it out. Smart move. Good ball movement here by Turkey. But Osman's A little bit heavy on his jumper there, and Borg will bring it back with pace the other way. To Begando, floats inside, but enough attention was paid to him from Shanley to put him off. And Turkey come away with it. Balbay now inbounds it to Osman. We're tied at 17 apiece, and that really has been symptomatic of this group. It's been a close battle pretty much in every single game. Nice little turnaround jumper from Korkmaz is no good though for Turkey, but it's off the hand of Borg, so it's going to stay with Turkey, and they'll get a fresh 14 seconds on the shot clock. Nice inbound pass, and Korkmaz, the grateful recipient of that fine pass. He gets himself a 2 off the glass, and Turkey creep their lead back out again to 2. Cherapovic. Gadaforsh. Back to Borg. Sweden moving well. Oh, nice split of the defense by Borg, and it goes to the wing to Persoon, and he can't get it to go, and the battle of the rebounding is won by Erden, who's back into the game after a strong start in the first quarter. Osman now to Osmizrak, and Erden getting tied up with Gadaforsh. Good bit of sportsmanship between the two of them. Silly reaction there from Erden, and the officials quick to step in, make it clear they won't be accepting any more of that. And with 8:15 left in this second quarter, a timeout has been called, with Turkey leading the game 19-17. A wonderfully finely poised World Cup qualifier we have for you here in Ankara. And the crowd are enjoying the festivities. And we'll jump into the Turkish huddle.
Nothing easy. Go on there.
Inspiring words there from Coach Bosnic. Nothing easy is the war cry that he gives to his players before they return to the hardwood. And if that doesn't get the pulse racing and the adrenaline pumping, I don't know what will. Not that the Swedish players need it. They've been very competitive so far. Heavily reliant, however, on Cherapovic for their scoring, who's now taken a seat on the bench. Dan now, back to Osmizrak. Fake shot from Korkmaz, drives inside, out to Osman. He's too heavy with that jumper, and Osman's not really found his form so far this evening here. He's only 1 from 5 from the field. That was a triple. He's got 4 boards to his name, but he'll be expecting more from Osman than that. Inside to Erden, and the mismatch is huge, but the shot clock violation rings around the arena, and Erden saying, give me the ball earlier. Don't give me a second to get to the basket. He needs a few seconds to go to work, but that is going to be a problem for Sweden. They don't have a vast amount of height in their team. And certainly not height with experience. Borg now inside, kicks it out. Good ball movement to Gadaforsh. Puts a little bit too much on that one, and Turkey will come away in transition. Wide open on the far side, and he rattles home the 3. Fukan Korkmaz for 3, and the Turkish leads back out to 5. Again, Sweden quick to move the ball. It's just that final pass that's let them down. Soon now, Baganda with the screen, and he gets it back. Has he got this touch? He certainly has. What a buzzer-beating play there by Simon Baganda. The young centre with a beautiful soft touch for two. Korkmaz now floats inside and one. Furkan Korkmaz is starting to take control of the Turkish offense now. He's up to double digits, 11 points to his name. 50% shooting from the field, and he's going to add to it when he goes to the line. Hopefully haven't given him the commentator's curse. But he hasn't missed a free throw yet, and he's 88% going into the game. That's a second foul on John Gadaforsh. He'll have to be careful. Oh, and I have given him the commentator's curse as he misses his first free throw of the game. Masamba now. Puts up the long three. Good rebound by Gadaforsh for Sweden, and they'll reuse the shot clock. Borg now to Masamba. Masamba picks his way through and goes up with a right hand. He can't get the roll, and Erdin will grab the rebound for Turkey. Osmazak now back with the ball. It's out of bounds off a Swedish hand, so it'll still be a Turkish ball. Osmazak to inbound it. Does so to Osman. Osman for three. Still can't find his form with the jump shot. Lindqvist now inside, and that's a real direct move, but he can't get it to go, and the scramble for the rebound ends with Osman going full court, and he's fouled. Smart move by the Swedish, stopping what would have been likely to be a 2-point lay-in for Osman in full flow. See where the foul comes from. Is it Baganda? Yeah, it is. He just reaches across. He needs to be careful, though. Didn't really make a play at the ball, and the officials could call it unsportsmanlike. Erdin now looking to back down Baganda, and it's knocked away by Simon Baganda. A baseline ball for Turkey. And what is an important game for them. They may have already advanced to the second round, but every win is so critical. Wilbekin now with the handle, trying to cross his man over, and it's almost knocked away by Lindqvist, but it's come to the corner for another three, and I don't need to tell you who it is. It's Furkan Korkmaz for another triple. 14 points to his name, and really putting on a clinic at the moment. A lovely shot fake, resets his feet and drains the three. Timeout been called by Sweden as they trail by 8. Let's jump into their huddle.
You need to keep minutes per second. If you receive the ball in the block, you don't need to go blue here. When you start there with ball, you don't get after them. Pick it now, push it forward.
Hey, even when we score, push the ball. They're not running back. Just push the ball, let it down.
Idemo, horns down. Press back first. Listen, press back now. Horns down. Hold on, Ege. Six guards. Horns. Victor here and Mama to the side. And we continue. We don't have we have cut to back schedule. You must continue 5 minutes.
Interesting comments there in the Swedish huddle. We obviously see the Turkish transition defense as a potential weakness. They're going to look out and try and break the Turkish early with speed and attacking the basket early in the shot clock. We'll have to look to see, one, if it works, and two, how the Turkish team adapt to that. And Turkey instantly drop into a full court man press now. It's only half a press as they allow Masamba to bring it up over the half. And it's knocked out of bounds by Korkmaz. And Hackinson will look to inbound it from the side. A little over 5 minutes left to play in this second quarter, and Turkey have it reasonably comfortable 8-point lead. Alley-oop pass to Baganda, but he loses the handle in midair. Sorry, it wasn't Baganda, it's Gadafors, but this time it's going to be the two-handed flush from Linkvist. Sorry, from Gadafors. It was Spires who couldn't convert the previous alley-oop. And Erden, oh, beautiful hands from the big man. He finds Korkmaz slashing to the basket. And Erden with the softest of interior passes gives an easy 2 points to Korkmaz, and he is racing away at the moment. He's up to 16 points now. And that foul is going to be called on Wilbekin. Florida born and plies his trade as a naturalized player in Turkish top division. Averaged 13 points in his first game in the qualifications, and a long three from Cherepovic, but it's no good, and Turkey will come back. And Osman now, as the lane opens up for him. Oh my goodness me, it really isn't his night. Cedi Osman, 1 from 8 from the field. Spires sets the screen and rolls to the basket. He gets the pass back, but he's going to kick it back out to Hackinson. Hackinson trying to find some space. There's none there. It does open up for Cherepovic. He's not going to get that one to drop, and that is just the second miss. Sorry, third miss. Nope, second miss for Cherepovic from the field. Korkmaz now to Osmizlak. Back to Osman, and Turkey very patient on the offensive end, and so far it has paid off for them. Wilbekin now. Does he get off in time? No, he doesn't. A little bit too patient from the Turkish team there, not really aware of the shot clock running down, and Wilbekin really left with next to no time to try and get a shot up, and he fails to do so. So that's a turnover, and Sweden will gratefully take the ball on the side. Hackinson now to Spires, who hands it back to Hackinson. Hackinson looking to blast past, but good defense by Wilbekin. Instead, Hackinson will shoot the three. Oh, in and out. That would have been a big jumper from the young point guard. Osman now trying to fight his way around the screen, but a big shot from the wing from Wilbekin is no good, and we're in a slightly scrappy phase as Gadafors gets an outlet on the two, and that's exactly what they were talking about in the timeout. They said that the Turkish transition defense was slow and that they should get out and run, and Gadafors has earned himself 2 points doing exactly that. Erden now going up against Spires. He's going to spin the length on the baseline. Oh my goodness! He went to posterize both Masamba and Spires. Couldn't quite get the ball high enough, and the body contact was called a foul. Let's have a look at that. Oh, that would have been a huge dunk if he'd converted it. He'd have collected 2 bodies on his way to that one. It's going to be 2 shots for Erden. He's not had the best of times from the line so far in qualification. It's his 3rd game, and he's averaging just 20% from the free-throw line. Made his senior debut 13 years ago at Eurobasket 2005. Been a intermittent present in the senior national team for Turkey. Misses the second as well, and as a big man that really can become a weakness. If you can't hit the free throws, players are more than happy to foul you. Oh, that's a beautiful form shot from Victor Gadafors, and you can almost tell within the arena how the game is going, because silence just sweeps across the stands as Sweden bring it to within 4. A little over 2 minutes to play here in the second quarter. And the Turkish coach, Coach Sarija, has called a timeout to talk things over. Let's have a look in his huddle and see what his plans are.
More goals. You will go with one. More up one, pass one. You will go with chicken. Goals get one. More goals. Great. Seri. More seri. Seri yüksek. Kolay yapıyoruz. Bundan. Romantikliğinden sonra down seri oluyor. Buradan first shot. Dikkat. Steal. Slide. Coach. Burada burada. Down seri.
You handle it. I go.
It really has been a game of runs so far. Turkey got out strongly to start with. Sweden fought their way back into the game. Turkey then opened up another lead, and Sweden once again fought their way back into the game. You do, however, wonder how much gas will be left in the tank if Sweden continue to let Turkey open gaps on them that they have to fight back into it. It is more energy sapping to fight your way back into a game than it is to hold on to a lead. Wilbekin now advances it up over the half and hands it off to Balbay. Balbay looking for options in front of him, and Wilbekin really is the only option. Sweden are applying a very sprawling defense at the moment, and the switching isn't happening, which means they're playing straight up defense. Got a shot off before the buzzer, but unable to convert. Osman now will take a chance to drive to the basket. And a little bit of afters between Masamba and Osman. I don't think Osman appreciated Masamba holding on to him. I'll have a look at it here. And yeah, Masamba does just hook his arm. It is unnecessary from Masamba. The foul's been called and not really needed. And Erdem will go to the bench for Turkey. Shanley will come back in. And Osman really hasn't had the most of it so far here in Ankara. Missing the first of his 3 throws there. And he's 1 from 8 from the field. It's just his second basket. One was a 3 and now a free throw. Does have 8 rebounds to his name though, so still contributing to the Turkish team and their 5-point lead. Gadafors to Masamba. And Baganda will come and set the screen, and that's a shocking pass by Masamba. There's no way, firstly, Baganda is ever going to catch that pass, and secondly, if he does, the direction is pointing him in. Osman now out in the break, and an easy 2, and Sweden fall asleep, and Turkey quickly put them to the sword. And that's the difference when you're playing one of the better teams on the world stage. You cannot afford to fall asleep for a moment, and they will punish you, and that's exactly what Osman has done there. Good heads-up play by Dush Balbay, and Sweden call a timeout. Let's listen to Coach Bozic.
Go easy. Hey, on 24 seconds, you put it in place. They shoot in 1 second every time. You need to take the ball. From transition, you can make a problem. You must slow it down after that. Hey, I'm up. Idemo up. Idemo up. Be special. But hela vägen. Not cut. Good screen. Side pick. Pass to four.
Well, there really has been two key players so far this evening here in Ankara, and for Turkey it is Furkan Korkmaz. He's 5 from 9 from the field, 16 points personal in a little under 13 minutes of action. And for Sweden it's Christopher Chalapovic, who's got himself 11 points in just under 12 minutes of action for him, but he's called off in this second quarter, and it's a steal now for Osman, and they're out at the races. Euro step, and one for Cedi Osman. Maybe he's starting to warm up now. Maybe the slow start is a thing of the past for Cedi Osman, and he's stolen the ball and he's out the break. A little short-footed Euro step gets him to the basket for 2. And he'll take a trip to the line to potentially add to that. That's Masamba's second foul, and that's going to take him to the bench. Osman 75% from the free-throw line in that first game. And he converts the bonus point, and Turkey are back out to a double-digit lead. Atkinson now being harassed at the top by Kirksal. Cherapovic. Back to Gadafors and Atkinson now. Couldn't get it to go, so that was Borg. And that's great defense by Turkey. It really does show when they apply themselves on the defensive end. They are able to limit Sweden's options, because at the moment Sweden have relied heavily on Chalapovic and Victor Gadafors. Turan comes back into the game for Turkey, and Balbay is being pressed upon by Borg. Finds a way to the basket, pulls up short, and he's going to pass the ball back out to Osman. Shot clock down to 7. Cedi Osman lining Borg up, drives to the basket. Oh, big play by Cedi Osman. Sideways to the basket when he releases that one, but still gets it to go off the glass, and you can really feel him starting to warm up here. That's a threatening sign for Sweden. They'll want to put the coolers on Osman. Quickly up to 11 points. Hackinson will inbound the ball for Sweden. After Turin is called for the foul. And Chalapovic is called for the offensive foul. That's great defense by Turkey. Korkmaz producing on both ends of the floor. As he takes a stand, and yeah, fully takes Chalapovic's contact square on the chest. .6 seconds left in this first half, and it'll be a Turkish ball. And the way things have gone, I think the Turkish team and coaching staff will be more than happy to enter the locker room at the half-time break with a 12-point lead. Balbay throws it long, and is it intercepted? No, Korkmaz will get the 2! And the mistake from Cherapovic has meant that Korkmaz gets himself another bucket. He's up to 18 points personal now, shooting 60% from the field, and Turkey, rightfully so, head to the locker room with flags waving in the stands and smiles upon their faces. Turkey 39, Sweden 25. And the crowd have enjoyed the first 20 minutes of action here in Ankara. There's your shooting percentages. Turkey clinical from all over the court, including from three, 45% from distance, while Sweden are only 9%. The rebounding battle is pretty even. Not many offensive rebounds up for grabs on either end. The turnovers, however, will be a concern pretty much for both teams, but more so for Sweden. 11 turnovers in 20 minutes is a quite high ratio, and they'll need to protect the ball better in the second half if they're going to come away with a win in their final game in the World Cup qualifiers. It really was an ebb and flow game in the first half here in Ankara as both teams looked to establish some kind of control. Turkey got out to a quick early lead in the first quarter. Sweden struggling to get on to the scoreboard at all. The introduction of Cherepovic changed that for Sweden though, and he quickly racked up some points, bringing Sweden back into it, but they managed to find a stopper for Cherepovic, and up stepped Korkmaz for Turkey, who accelerated throughout that second quarter, piling on the points, including a buzzer beater at the end of the second quarter. That took his personal tally to 18 points, shooting 60% from the field, and so far 2 from 2 from the perimeter. And he's been ably assisted by a slow start from Cedi Osman, but 18 minutes of action, he's got 11 points and 8 rebounds, so almost on a double-double after the first half of action. But Cedi Osman didn't have the start he wanted. He is only shooting 37% from the field, and that was an awful lot lower up into the last 2-3 minutes of that second quarter. As for Sweden, Cherepovic is their key man. He's got 11 points, 2 boards and an assist to his name. And outside of that, the only other bright spark has been that of Victor Gadafors. He's got 8 points and 5 rebounds, as well as a steal in his 16.5 minutes of action. If Sweden are going to finish off this group stage with a flurry, then they'll need to find more than those 2 players to contribute on the offensive end. I'm expecting more from Nicholas Spires, but he's not so far been able to contribute too much. He's yet to score. He has got a couple of rebounds to his name, but unfortunately he's picked up 3 personal fouls in the first half, so he's had limited time, a little over 7 minutes on court for him. But as I said, a win today for Turkey will see them finish a Group B top and send them through to the second phase of qualification with a fine 4-2 record. In second place would be Latvia with a matching record, only missing out on top spot through the head-to-head, and Ukraine would scoop up the final qualification spot. Sorry, not qualification spot, advance spot in Group B with a 3-3 record. But here in Ankara, we've had plenty for the capacity crowds to cheer about, and they've made sure they've made plenty of noises. And that man, Cedi Osman, is no doubt going to serve us up more highlights in the second half. That's just moments away, so please make sure you come back and join me for all the action of that second half here in Ankara as Turkey lead 39-25 over Sweden in the World Cup qualifiers. Welcome back to Ankara for the second half of this World Cup qualifier between Turkey and Sweden. Turkey will be happy. They entered the half-time locker room leading this one by 14. 39 to Turkey, 25 to Sweden. It has been a back and forth affair. Turkey having the best of the opening exchanges before Sweden fought their way back into it. Turkey open out yet another lead. Sweden fought their way back into it, and in the last 2-3 minutes before the half-time break, Turkey once again opened out the lead, and it really is on the back of two men. Furkan Korkmaz, 18 points to his name, shooting 60% from the field, and Cedi Osman, just under 18 minutes, he scored 11 points, but also pulled down 8 defensive rebounds for Sweden. Their two main men are Christopher Charapovic, he's on 11 points and 2 rebounds, and Victor Gadafors, 8 points and 5 boards to his name. But Sweden are going to need more production if they're to come away with the win. Both teams heavily reliant on their starting fives. For Turkey, only 5 players have registered on the scorebook, with only 4 points coming off the bench. And the same can be said for Sweden as well. Only 4 points from the bench for them, and only 5 players in total have scored. The likes of Hackinson and Borg in the starting 5 yet to score for Sweden, and Shanley and Balbay yet to score for Turkey. But we're just a few moments away from the start of the second half here in Ankara, and the crowd have been treated to some great basketball from Turkey, as they've limited Sweden to just 25 points in that first half. And that has been the problem for Sweden in qualification. They are the lowest scoring team in Group B, 69.2 points per game, whilst Turkey are averaging 72. But that really does give you an indication of how close the group is. Turkey are walking, or looking to walk away, as group leaders into the second phase, while Sweden are out. And the difference between their scoring averages is less than 3 points. But we're now ready for the second half here in Ankara, and Turkey will get things underway as Korkmaz inbounds the ball to Balbay. Shanley sets the screen for Korkmaz. A little two-man game there on the wing. Beautiful pick and roll, and Shanley with a two-handed jam. That really is textbook big man, little man stuff from Korkmaz and Shanley. Gadafors now floats inside with the left hand and was hoping for a kind roll. Not this time. Osman thrown up against Baganda. Good defense by Baganda. It's now fallen into the hands of Shanley. He has to recycle it back out to Korkmaz. Shot clock down to 8. Shanley going to go to work again. And gets the roll on the little baby hook. Gadafors not able to stop him. He is giving up 11 centimetres in the battle though, so always going to be difficult for Victor Gadafors. Cherapovic now, leading scorer for Sweden in that first half, but it dried up for him towards the closing stages. A forced shot there from Hackinson, and that's no good. Osman with the hesitation. Oh, what a zip pass! Cedi Osman inside to Shanley. Absolute rocket pass there from Osman. Hackinson now for Sweden. They really do need to start fighting back if they're going to come away with a win. The foul's going to be called on Sertaç Shanley. Plays for Besiktas in the Turkish top league. Also played within the Basketball Champions League this season. Averaged 8.9 points and 4 rebounds per game in that competition. Nice interior pass to Baganda. He misses the wide open 2, and thankfully for him gets the offensive rebound and puts it back in. Hackinson trying to control Balbay, but struggling. Osman now turns the corner. Back to Wilbekin, can't get it to go, and comes up quite short on that attempt, and the ball bounces kindly for Sweden into the hands of Cherapovic. Cherapovic trying to get his way to the basket, and Balbay illegally blocks his path. Soon now hands it off to Hackinson. Hackinson turns the corner, comes back to Cherapovic for three. That's exactly what Sweden needed. Cherapovic back on the scoring trip, and he's up to 14 points now. They'll need plenty more from him if they're to break down this 15-point lead that Turkey still have. Wilbekin getting tied up in the corner, back to Osman. Osman for three. Oh, beautiful shot by Cedi Osman. And that really does break the spirit of Sweden. They've struggled to score, and eventually they get Cherapovic to drop a three, and straight away Osman cancels it out at the other end. Inside to Baganda. Baganda back out to Gadaforsh. He hits a three. We're in the shootout at Ankara right now. Let's see if Osman has got any more to answer. Wilbekin to Shanley, to Balbay. Moving the ball reasonably well, but the Swedish defence holds up. Here comes Osman. Oh, Cedi Osman, back-to-back triples. We are being spoilt here in Ankara as both teams light it up from deep. Hackinson for three. Oh, he comes up short. The run of triples ends there. Balbay to Osman, not another three. Yes, another three. Cedi Osman, back-to-back threes from the NBA superstar. Gadaforsh, he comes up a little bit too heavy, and that last triple for Osman takes him up to 20 points, 10 boards. He has come to play. Tough play there as Korkmaz goes to the basket and gets caught on the head by Gadaforsh. Quick replay of that. Oh, easy call for the officials. Korkmaz gets a quick shot to the face. Back in the game though. He looks fine as Turkey will have the ball on the baseline. That's Sweden's first foul of the quarter. Korkmaz, long two. Too heavy with that one, and Gadaforsh brings it down. Baganda sets the screen. Gadaforsh doesn't take the three, passes it out to Pierce soon. No, can't get it to go. Gadaforsh splits the Turkish defense and looks to move the ball, but it was a tap from the Turkish player there, so it's not backcourt. Shot clock to three though. Masamba for three. Oh, big shot by Thomas Masamba. My goodness me, I'm not sure what went on in both locker rooms in the halftime break, but both teams have got their sights set from deep here in the third quarter. Balbay now floats inside, tries to hand it back to Shanley, and he obliges with the easy two with the left hand. Back up to an 18-point lead for Turkey. And there might be a big gap, but we have an entertaining game on our hands here. Cherapovic now back to Masamba, to Gadaforsh, to Baganda, pick and roll. Cherapovic for three. Oh my goodness! How long can this continue? It's raining threes in Ankara right now. Balbay. You can hear the stunned silence in the crowd right now. Korkmaz for three. Oh, you are kidding me right now. The teams are trading threes at both ends of the floor. A pure shooting clinic as Korkmaz moves up to 21 points. Still 100% from the perimeter. And what was a reasonably low-scoring affair in the first half has suddenly lit on fire here. Masamba now with the ball. Jerapovic fakes the three, foot on the line, it's only a two. Can't get it to go. And Balbay brings it up for Turkey, and a slightly slower pace to the game now after what has been an explosive third quarter so far. Korkmaz uses the screen set by Shanley. Shanley looks to go inside. Can he hold on to it? No, he can't. Oh, he manages to rescue it though, and it's a catch and shoot by Balbay. Oh! Is there anything that the Turkish team can't do right now? Lady Luck is looking down on them. Shanley manages to save it, throws it back in bounds, and Balbay catches and shoots to hit the triple before the buzzer of the shot clock sounds. Look at this play. Hustle by Shanley to start with. He doesn't give up on it. And Balbay's ready. Catch, shoot. And it's a pretty straightforward three. What else would you expect from Turkey here in the third quarter? Timeout has been called. Thankfully, we can all catch our breath after what has been a chaotic phase. Let's listen to Coach Bosnich. There was a tell-telling stat there, and Osman will show you exactly why. Beautiful form on the three. Turkey have shot 10 from 17 from the perimeter. That's 59%. They've almost scored half their points from way, way out deep. And Sweden have definitely started lighting it up as well. They've hit 5 triples after a very slow start indeed. So we are in the process of a shootout here in Ankara, and long may it continue for the entertainment of the crowd in the arena and you fans at home. Ball is thrown away, but it's out of bounds off Balbay, so it'll be a Swedish ball on the baseline. Turkey with a commanding 23-point lead, just under 3 minutes to play in the third. Palmblad now hands it across to Gadafors. He can't get the roll on the jumper, and Balbay scoops up the rebound. Another big shot, nothing there. And Turan fights for the rebound, but Sweden managed to secure possession. Masamba now uses the screen set by Romstedt. In the corner, high arcing jumper is no good, and Turkey will grab the rebound, and Korkmaz now, a little change of direction and a one-handed flush. And Korkmaz is saying, yeah, I can shoot the ball from deep, but I can get to the lane and throw it down as well. He can score from all over the place. Palmblad now with the ball for Sweden. And the long shot from Gadafors, a little bit too much weight on that one. No real wonder that Korkmaz was named the best young player of the Basketball Champions League back in 2017. He really is the human highlight reel here this evening. Balbay looks to feed the post, but we've got a call on the court. I'm not sure. I think it might be an offensive foul. As Shanley tries to establish himself in the post. Let's have a quick look. And yeah, he's pushed his man away there. It's right in front of the officials, and they've got eagle eyes. So something so blatant is going to get called, and Korkmaz goes to the Turkish bench, and rightfully so. Receive some appreciation from the fans here in the arena. Shanley will also go to the bench, and Erdem will check back in. Masamba now for Sweden. To Romstedt. He floats inside and hands it off to Lindqvist. Lindqvist can't get it to go, and Turan picks up the rebound. It's his first board of the evening for Turan. Balbay now. As Turkey work the same offense again to get Turan open on the wing, and he'll feed the low post, and Erdan will hand it back out to Balbay. He can't get it off in time this time. So it will be a shot clock violation and a turnover ball, with Sweden taking possession. Ozmizrak will come back into the game for Balbay, and he has been an influential figure. Only 3 points, but the plus-minus for Balbay is 23 points. Really has been pretty much a key part of the reason why Turkey have such a lead. Lindqvist now hands it off to Palmblad. Pulls up for the long two, comes up short. Lindqvist with the rebound, and Romstedt taps it back to Gadafors. Gives it up to Masamba. Into the final 10 seconds, and a fake there from Lindqvist. Pulls up for the long two and drains it to the bottom of the bucket. 3 seconds left in the third quarter. And can he get it to go? No, he can't. Ozmizrak comes up short on that buzzer-beating attempt, but my goodness me, an out-of-breath commentator here after what has been a huge third quarter, with triple after triple raining down here in Ankara. But at the end of the third, Turkey lead this one 64-41 against Sweden, and they're in a commanding position entering into the final quarter of action. Welcome back to Ankara. There are 10 minutes of action left in Group B here in the European zone of qualification for the 2019 World Cup that will be hosted in China next year. And my goodness me, just look at those statistics. Turkey are 53% from the perimeter. They have been raining down long bombs onto Sweden, and it's just a huge play, no more so than here from Shanley. Saves the ball, catch and shoot to beat the buzzer for Balbay, and he obliges. It really has summed up their quarter as Jaush Balbay just nails a huge, huge shot. But we're ready for the final 10 minutes here in Ankara, and Lindqvist will inbound the ball to Masamba as we get things back underway. Palmblad now. So Gadafors, and got a wedgie as the ball gets stuck between the ring and the backboard. It'll be a Turkish ball on the sideline. In that situation, it goes with a possession indicator. Bielsan now inbounds it to Ozmizrak. Turan being guarded closely by Lindqvist. Gets it into Bielsan. Comes back out. Oh, that's a huge shot. In and out from Mahamotoglu, and Masamba now with the ball. Goes to Spires. Oh, Palmblad for three. Only just grazes the front of the ring, and Erdan fights hard for the rebound and corrals it in the end. Erdan hits the deck again. He really does give it his all when he plays. And the veteran big man has been there, done that. Spent a few seasons in the NBA playing for Boston and Cleveland as well. He's at the turn of the decade. He's been a 3 times Turkish League winner. Made his senior debut 13 years ago now at Eurobasket 2005. And here he is trying to qualify for the World Cup 2019. Balbay hands it off to Bearsan, and he drains the 3. It seems that all of the Turkish players are blessed with the long-range shooting ability. Bearsan off the bench, and he joins in on the act. Masamba now. As Gaddaforce turned the corner, but was a little bit off balance, so his shot didn't go. Balbay inside to Erdan, but the foul's going to be called on Spires. I'm sure you heard that. You've got to be kidding, but pretty sure the officials aren't. Foul's called on Spires, and that will see Baganda come back into the game and Spires go to the bench. Baseline ball now for Turkey, and Mahamotoglu will put it back in to play, and it's now in the hands of Ozmizlak. Uses the screen from Erdan twice. Can't get it to go, but Erdan is working hard on the rebound. Flies into the press on the baseline, but rescues the ball. Mahamotoglu now to Turan for 3. Oh, he's come off with the ball bouncing off the iron, and Masamba will bring it back for Sweden. They have a 5-on-4 break at the moment. To Palmblad in the corner. Short with that one, and Turan pulls in the rebound. That's his 2nd board in today's contest, and 7:40 left on the game clock, and Turkey lead this one in a commanding 26-point lead, and Ozmizlak hits another 3. Sweden really have given up on closing out these shots now, and Turkey are continuing to rain it down from deep. Baganda now to Palmblad. Palmblad pulls up for the long 2 and comes up short with that one. He's not had much joy so far. He's 0 from 4 from the field, Palmblad. And the foul is going to be called on Masamba, and you'll hear the wolf whistles from the crowd as he looks to dive in for the ball and takes out pretty much everything but the ball. Wholesale changes for Sweden as Masamba and Palmblad go to the bench. Into the game again comes Chelapovic, who is leading the scoring effort for Sweden. The ball is inbounded to Ozmizlak, who will advance it up over the half for Turkey as we get to the final 7 minutes of this game in Ankara, and Turkey have put on a shooting masterclass so far here. Erdan now, running right hand hook, proper old school move there from Semi Erdan, and he couldn't get it to go, but it's out of bounds off a Swedish hand, so it will be a Turkish ball on the baseline. Mahamotoglu now inbounds it long, almost into the backcourt there. But Ozmizlak holds onto it, and it's in the hands of Turin for 3. No joy, and Borg rises up for Sweden to claim the rebound. Hackinson goes cross-court to Chelapovic, who pulls up for the long 2, and he gets another 2 to drop. You do wonder why Chelapovic hasn't played more minutes. He's up to 19 points personal in a little over 20 minutes played, and in the corner for 3 is no good for Bearson. He hit his first, but can't connect with that second one. Baganda now floats inside, the big man in full flow, couldn't get the finger roll, but he's fouled by Turan, so he'll go to the line for 2 shots. Uganda competed in the Basketball Champions League this past season, averaged 11.2 points and 7.2 boards in that, so it really is a bright future for the young big man. You can still see there's a lot of potential to work on in his game, but it's only going to go one way. His IQ level will rise because of situations like this. His experience is absolutely priceless for young players. Birsan now brings it up for Turkey. Ozmizlak waits for the options in front of him. Nothing there so far. Kirksal finds some space, but the door is quickly shut by Lindqvist. To Birsan, who puts up an air ball, and Borg will catch that air ball and advance it back the other way for Sweden. To the corner to Cherapovic. He floats inside, rolls across the ring, but doesn't manage to drop. Exciting player, Christopher Cherapovic. Really is a direct player, able to score from the outside as well as get to the basket. Ozmizlak now trying to feed Raj on the slip from the screen, but comes off the foot of a Swedish player. So a new 14 seconds will be set on to the shot clock for Turkey to work with. Ozmizlak now looking ahead. What options has he got? And he did have an option, but that option got blocked. Ozmizlak gets it up in time and hits another three. Wow-wee. Turkey are showing how to shoot the ball from distance. And it's not just one or two players, it's pretty much the entire team getting in on the act now. Balbay and Osman and Korkmaz all shooting big threes, and now Ozmizlak's in on the action. As Baganda gets a little baby hook to go for Sweden. Raj now sets the screen, gets it back. Looking for options, looks to go for the backdoor pass. Nice movement here by Turkey. Birsan now to Raj. Raj for the long two. Flat trajectory, but he rattles it home. And that's his first two of the night. Hackinson now for Sweden. As Baganda looks to establish in the low post, he's going to look to pass to Raj. Comes back out to Cherapovic instead. He'll drive inside. Doesn't need a double invite, and one for Cherapovic. He really is very impressive on the offensive end. Christopher Cherapovic can shoot the three, and look at the control on the body, draws the contact, makes sure he gets the foul, and then has the ability to hold his poise and hit the lay-in as Ozmizlak goes to the bench and receives a well-earned round of applause from the crowd. Misses his free throw, grabs his own rebound though. Turkey completely asleep there. They thought it was 2 free throws, but it obviously wasn't. Good play by Cherapovic. Lindqvist backing his way down, but a silly play there from Lindqvist. A no-look over the head pass straight into the hands of Wilbekin. And he goes up the other way, and it's knocked away by Lindqvist. He makes up for it this time. And Hackinson is fouled by Birsan. And that will only be the second team foul of the quarter for Turkey, so sideline possession for Sweden. Borg now, Cherapovic for three. Off to the right, and the iron just bats it away. Wilbekin now for Turkey. 6 points to his name. He's not had the offensive night that maybe many of us were expecting from him. It's not really been needed though. Turkey haven't struggled to score the ball this evening. A long shot from Birsan. Had to take it. Shot clock running down, but he's too heavy on that one. And the rebound by Hackinson is taken, and he'll put up the three. But he comes up short, and it really does feel a bit more like a scrimmage right now as both teams look to just score as many as they can before the end of this game. Ball now into Raj. He'll shoot an awkward-looking jumper from the near short corner. It's out of bounds off Kirksal, so it will be a Swedish ball on the baseline. Turkey now just 2 minutes 40 away from securing top spots in Group B of the European qualification zone for the FIBA 2019 World Cup. As I said, this is phase 1. So the top 3 from Group B will be Turkey, Ukraine and Latvia. That was decided before the game. What position is still up for grabs, and Cherapovic finally finds it way around to Persoon, and he can't get it to go. But yeah, Turkey, Ukraine and Latvia will now advance to the next round, where each of those will go home and away games against Spain, Slovenia and Montenegro, who will be advancing from Group A. They'll form a 6-team group, and the results from both from phase 1 and phase 2 will be combined together, and the top 3 teams from that second phase group will then book their plane tickets to China for the World Cup finals. A win tonight gives Turkey another big step towards that ultimate goal, a chance of performing at the big show. Araj a little bit too heavy with the left hand hook, and Gadafors comes back the other way and puts it into the corner, but it's no good for Borg, and Araj brings down the rebound. We're into the final 1 minute and 20 of the game here in Ankara, and the crowd here have been entertained. That third quarter was a shooting masterclass from both teams. Kirksal now can't get it to go, and the rebound will be won by Baganda, and come back the other way as the game drops down a few gears and both teams cruise their way into the final minute here in Ankara. And Turkey, with this win, seal top spot, but more importantly, they take another win on their plight to make it through to the World Cup finals in China next year. For Sweden, it's the end of the road. It's the end of their World Cup dreams for this year. They'll move into the pre-qualifiers for Eurobasket 2021. So they've still got games in front of them that will matter, as Araj throws down a one-handed consolation dunk, and that's to his personal tally. In the final 30 seconds, the teams will see the clock out, but Sweden will now turn their focus, believe it or not, to Eurobasket 2021. Into the corner to Cherapovic, throws a few fakes, puts up the 3. No good. And I have a feeling Turkey now will just see out the final few seconds of the clock and the feet. And the crowd in here, in the arena in Ankara, get to their feet and show their appreciation for Turkey. They've certainly put a shift in tonight against what was a very useful Swedish side. But Turkey come away with a very important 77-52 win here in Ankara. That secures them top spot in Group B, and they'll move forward to the second phase of qualification, with the first games in that phase taking place in mid-September. So that's where their focus will head now. They won't know quite yet whether it will be Spain, Slovenia or Montenegro they face first, and whether it will be home and away. But they do know they're the 3 teams that the attention will now shift to. And that's where coach Zadajay will turn his attention, while Sweden, their focus moves to qualifying for Eurobasket 2021. This is the end of the road for their World Cup dreams. But you see the smiles there on the Turkish players. Another win chalked up for an impressive Turkish team, and on the back of a very impressive performance from quite a few players in the white and red of Turkey. The plaudits, no doubt, for Turkey will go to Korkmaz. He's chalked up 23 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists and a steal. And Cedi Osman, he started off slowly, but he made up for that in the second half with 20 points and 11 boards. There's your shooting percentages. Turkey's 3-point percentage just crept below 50%, 48%. Crazy to think they almost shot as well from outside as they did the free-throw line. Turkey also won the rebounding war and played a bit more team basketball to get their points on the board. Sweden protected the ball well in the second half, as did Turkey. And what an entertaining game we've had here in Ankara. And you can tell by the reaction from the fans in the crowd, in the stands, that they've enjoyed what they've seen. Korkmaz leads all scorer 23 points. Cherapovic with 21. The rebounding battle was won by Osman with 11. Baganda got 8. Balbay with 5 assists for Turkey. Not much to talk about with steals and blocks and turnovers. It was a reasonably tidy game as the fans get their chance to have their photos taken with some of their favourite players, and they're more than willing to have the photos taken before they head back to the locker room. Osman, 20 points, Osman with 8, Gadafors with 11, and Baganda with 11 as well. Plenty of points scored in that third quarter. An absolutely prolific third quarter, 25-16, the highest scoring quarter of the game. And looking at the Swedish team, it was Cherapovic who stole the show for them. 21 points, 4 rebounds, and an assist for him in 27 minutes of action. Both Baganda and Gadafors had 11 points apiece. Baganda grabbed 8 boards, dished out an assist, and grabbed himself a steal, whilst Gadafors had 6 boards and 1 steal. But Sweden were just overpowered by the talent-laden roster of Turkey here in Ankara. And Turkey started quickly in the first quarter before being pegged back by Sweden, and once again Turkey went out again and Sweden pegged them back, and then Turkey extended the lead again and really didn't look back from there in the third quarter. Their perimeter performance was absolutely unreal, and that man Cedi Osman really did start heating up in the second half and hit bomb after bomb from distance. But they were all at it in the end. Not just Osman raining the threes, but Korkmaz and as well was in on the action, as was Osmizrak and Balbay. They all managed to get themselves some points from the perimeter. Sweden tried to match them as best they could, and Cherapovic drained some big triples throughout that third quarter as well. But it wasn't enough, as Turkey eventually ran out for the win. That was probably play of the game for me, as Shanley hustles for the rescue, flips it back into Balbay, and what a catch and shoot. When you talk to juniors about a jump shot, that's what a jump shot is. He just extends into the air, but a beautiful play, and Korkmaz there showing that he can score from all over the floor. Not only was he hitting triples, but a huge drive to the basket and stuffing it home. Biasan getting in the action as well with a 3 towards the end, as Turkey ran their bench, got some well-earned minutes for some of the bench players, handing some experience out among their roster, which will only pay dividends in future games. But here in Ankara, we finish up Turkey 77, Sweden 52. A Turkish shooting performance to be proud of. Sweden bow out of the 2019 FIBA World Cup, and Turkey's sights will now be set on the second qualification phase, which tips off in mid-September. Thanks for joining me here in Ankara, and we finish with Turkey 77, Sweden 52.